Welcome to a MainelyDIY.com video.
So today I am going to make a little reindeer out of this cork, and I am going to take a chenille stem and cut it in half. So I've got that cut in half, and then I'm going to take a So I cut my chenille stem in half, and then I'm going to curl it, and I'm just taking a pen or a pencil, and I'm just going to wrap that around. And I'll probably leave a little bit of a tail, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. So I'm just wrapping my chenille stem around a pen or a pencil. Just a cylinder shape, could be a dowel. Okay, and so there I have it. I am going to take a yarn needle. I'm going to take a yarn needle here and poke a hole down in here, and then I am going to squirt out a little bit of my hot glue, and then I'm going to dip the end of my chenille stem in my hot glue and poke it down in that hole that I started. And I think I need to make a bigger hole because my stem is not going down in there as well as I had hoped. So I will try that again. There we go. I've got him in there good and secure now. And then I am going to poke another hole on the other side for his other antler. Just make sure it's big enough. And then I am going to dip that in some glue stem. And you see my kitty knocked over my glue gun. That's not so cool. And I could avoid these long strings. You see me pulling my hand away dealing with glue strings if I'd used regular craft glue, but I didn't want to take the time to do that this morning. Okay, so I can curl those antlers around to where I want them, or uncurl them, whatever I choose. And that's always a fun thing to play with. Okay. And then I am going to choose some eyeballs for him. And I think this is a good size. So I am going to put some eyeballs on him. And again, I'm squirting out a little bit of glue and then dipping my eyepiece into the little piece of glue instead of trying to squirt it directly onto the eye, because it's a small piece and I don't want to get my fingers in the tip of the glue gun. And I'm using my glue gun on low temperature right now, so that's not such a issue. And I want to make sure I don't have it on the front of the eye. These are a little bit harder to pull off than some other items. So let's see. Oops. Let's try that again. So dip my eye in the glue, and then I am putting him where I want. And I'm picking off the excess glue while it's easy. And then I'm going to pick out a nose for him, and I think that's probably going to be my size, but I'll try a bigger one just for, oh, that's way too big. So, again, I am just going to dip that in some of the glue that I've heated up, and I guess that one wasn't warm enough, so fresh enough to get my glue on it. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to put his little nose on. Okay. He's going to need a hanger, so I am going to get a piece of red ribbon. And I'm going to say, oh, that's going to be plenty for my hanger. And I'm going to get a pair of scissors to cut that with, because these cutters work very good on wire but not so well on finer things like my ribbon. I'm going to take a pin. I happen to be using a sequin pin. You can use a regular straight pin. And I am going to poke that in my ribbon, loop it around, and poke it in my ribbon again, and that's going to serve as my hanger. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that in the hot glue there. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and poke that right down pretty much in the center of the cork, because that's going to be where it's going to hang from. And I am just pushing that down real tight. And then I'm going to give my little guy a little bow, and I'm going to choose of a couple different ones. That one's not to my liking for this project, so let's try this one. Not quite the one I want. Let's try another one. That one works pretty good. I think I'm going to try, yeah, I think that one suits me. I see another one that might do it, but it might be too big too. So, yeah, that one's too big for my moose. So, I'm going to go ahead and use this one. And I am just going to squirt a little bit of glue on that. Go ahead and put my bow on. Okay. Now you see I've got all of, I'm going to turn my glue gun off. Okay, so you can see all of these glue strands, and that's kind of a, I'm going to zoom up here. Now I've got a bunch of hot glue strings here that I am dealing with, so I am pulling off the ones that are easy to pull off. Don't want to pull too hard. I could take a pair of scissors and trim some off too, which is probably a good idea. So I've got a good amount of those off, but I want to kind of touch that up so that I don't have to deal with these glue strands. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take a heat gun. This is a heat gun for embossing, but this would work really well with a hairdryer as well. So I'm going to go ahead and heat that up just a hair, or heat it up a little bit. And again, you want to be careful not to touch the metal on these pieces. This is just, there's a little bit of glue over here on the side, and this is just Craft Bond glue. So I'm going to go ahead and poke my pin in that glue, not getting it on my ribbon, but getting some glue on my pin, and then I'm going to put it right in the center of my cork. So I'm going to say right there, and I'm just going to poke that pin all the way down. That's sometimes easier said than done, so I am turning it upside down on my glass mat that I'm working on, because that's what I put my glue on. And then I can press it down and not hurt my fingers, so that's cool. So I'm going to kind of spread and then there he is. He does need to dry before we fuss with him any. Here's the one I made using the glue gun, and he'd set up a lot quicker.